The next part is the assessment task, and I'm sure this phrase has gone around and has probably caused a certain degree of confusion, and we're all wondering what is happening with this. The assessment task is one of the areas of assessment. It's one of those moments of assessment. It is directly linked to the second CBA, okay? So CBA 2, that collection of texts. Basically what is going to happen is that this is going to be a formal written task completed in class. 2 class periods will be provided for it. This is submitted to the SEC. So whereas the collection of text that the students are putting together, of those 4, they choose 2 that will be taken by their teachers. Initially, samples might be brought, as was mentioned, to SLAR meetings. But after that, those final two pieces out of the 4 will be assessed. The assessment task after that is actually submitted to the SEC. And just to talk you through exactly what it is, okay? It's a reflective process, okay, on the work that they carried out over that year and a half. So creating this collection of texts, this then gives them the opportunity to reflect over that entire process. What it was like to be involved in the writing experience, to create things like reviews or short stories. Like I said, approximately 2 classes are given over to this. So I just want to draw your attention to page 454 of book 2, okay, where basically we've given a blow-by-blow description of what is going to happen in these 2 classes. What is going to happen is that when students arrive in for the first moment, they'll be given a piece of stimulus material. That will probably, for example, be someone talking about the art of writing. For example, one of the samples that has been given by Curriculum Online, by the NCCA, is Rick Riordan talking about 3 tips for young writers. From that stimulus material, students will then engage in either a written or a spoken discussion about it. That's the first little part, and that's quite short. It's not very taxing on them. The second part is where they get to really engage and reflect on what it was like to create their collection of texts. So they'll be asked to choose a little sample of their writing from one of their texts. So take, for example, if you look at the bottom of page 455, just if you go all the way down to the bottom of where number 2 is, okay, so just the second number 2 on that page. That's a little extract from a student's piece of work. And what that is that they include that paragraph and then they almost do a little bit of a reflection on it. So for example, in this case, it's an extract from a blog that a student created. The blog was called Journey into the Unknown. So the sample is there from them, okay, and part 3 asks them to talk about what in your view is, explain how 2 features of the extract you have chosen are typical of this genre. So that's a question they've been provided with on the exam paper. And they get an opportunity to respond to that based on the text they've written themselves. So they're armed with the information going into this assessment task. They have spent not a year and a half, they've spent 2.5 years creating text, writing, drafting, redrafting, getting feedback from their peers, getting feedback from you, the teachers. So we have to give them credit here in the sense that by the time they get to this, they're going to have a lot of work done. They're going to have a lot of pieces of writing done at this point. And they will more than likely have the capability to engage with this process. Okay? But it's like everything else, it's going to be different for every student. That is the second part of it. If you just flick over the page, the last thing they'll be asked to do, or part B of the assessment task, they'll be given a number of pointers. So we're on the top of page 456 now. So they'll basically be given almost a pointer for a paragraph that they're going to write. Number 1 is there, how the things I read helped me be a better writer. So that's almost a little stimulus. The student then goes ahead and writes about possibly taking into account the things they've read over 2.5 years of being a student in secondary school learning English all the time. They might choose text to refer to from their textbook. They might choose text they've written in their own private time, or text they've read in their own private time. But then they're able to use that to say, well, listen, I read The Landlady by Roald Dahl, and I felt that some of the descriptions he used were absolutely beautiful. The sense of suspense that he built up was fantastic. And as a result, I brought this into my own writing. I was able to use this. Even some of his vocabulary and phrasing, I took it for myself and tried to emulate that and to copy it. Okay? So that's, guys, basically is the talk through the assessment task. Now, like I said, I just want to get to the final assessment, or the final examination, and then we can go back to that again, because I imagine there will be probably a few questions on it.